All right, happy Thursday. All right, you're almost awake now, aren't you?
Yes.
Okay. We're going to go ahead and get started. How many of you guys, this is your first workshop that you've ever been to in the office? Raise your hand. Good, good. Everybody give them a big round of applause. How many of you guys have been to 5, 10 workshops, 20 workshops, 30 workshops, 50 workshops? Keep your hands up. 100 workshops? Keep your hands up. There, high five there, high five there. Good, give her a round of applause. Yes, you got the t-shirt. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt. I want to welcome all of you guys for being here tonight. Thank you for coming. I promise you're going to have a good time. You're going to learn a lot. We're going to have a lot of fun. Most importantly, this is going to be life-changing. I don't have to tell you, but the title of the workshop bears all the significance that it needs as far as knowing that it's important, and we've got a lot of work to do. Cancer is a serious thing. Just this week, I had just a couple of people tell me of family members that were diagnosed terminal, stage 4, and it's something that I see getting worse, not getting better. So I want to make sure tonight leaves a lasting impact on you guys, and not just for us, but for the generations to come. It's my wish and my prayer that we would leave this community better than we found it. And hopefully you guys will feel that, and we can apply what we learned tonight, not just for ourselves, but also pass the information along to our friends. So next month, every month that we have a workshop, you're gonna learn something new. You're gonna continue to learn. You're gonna continue to grow. And we do a workshop every month. Always the titles are different. The information is different. And so next month we have our weight loss workshop. There's going to be weight loss in there. There's going to be detox in there, and it's going to be really, really. It's going to be a phenomenal workshop. For those of you guys who've already, been on the weight loss program, again, more important than losing weight is what? Keeping it off. So this is where the rubber meets the road in terms of making it practical for the rest of your life. I also want to encourage you guys, for those of you who are patients, just remember, if you come to 6 or more workshops, and you're under chiropractic care, you're doing wellness care, you get up to 10% off of your Resign plan every year. You keep coming back, and you'll keep. It's kind of like one of those Subway, those you buy 6 sandwiches, you get the 6th one free, almost like that. So we incentivize you just to stay healthy. Okay, next thing I'm going to show you is a clip, a video clip. It's very, very sobering, but it kind of sets the stage for really the whole workshop. What does your future look like? Yeah, no, I have, let me try this one more time. Wow, I've got no audio. Unbelievable. Not sure why that's going on. That's throwing me for a loop. Okay, just watch the pictures. It kind of tells the whole story, really. Yeah. So you got one guy healthy on the left. That's the proactive lifestyle. On the right, that's the one who didn't take care and prevent all that. Same person, different futures. Which future are you going to choose? A little more dramatic with the music, but you kind of get the picture. Yeah. That's actually a Canadian Public Health Service announcement. Yeah. I don't see that happening here in the United States, unfortunately.
It'd have to be twice the weight.
It would what?
It'd have to be twice the weight on one side.
Yeah, we might see that also. So, some staggering statistics, which many of you, probably already know. 1 in 2 men and 1 in 3 women die from cancer, or they're going to be diagnosed. And every 2.5 seconds, someone's diagnosed with cancer. Every 4 seconds, a life is taken by the disease. In the 1940s, it was 1 out of 16 people. In the 1970s, it was 1 out of 10. Today, it's what?
1 out of 3.
1 out of 3. So as time goes on, it just keeps getting worse and worse. Cancer really does its ugly work kind of like an iceberg. Most of it is below the surface. We go through life, we're under a lot of stress. That beats our immune system down. We may not be exercising as much as we should. That's a big problem. Cancer loves to thrive in an unoxygenated environment. We're toxic. All of us in this room, we're all toxic. It's not a question of if we're toxic. It's a question of how toxic we really are. Nutritional deficiencies. We talk about the trace minerals. When we look at the soil today, and we're supposed to have 70 different trace minerals, and modern agriculture is only replacing them with 4. So it doesn't matter how pretty our fruits and vegetables look, we're getting a fraction of what we need really through our produce today. So I've said this before, I'll say it again. If you're serious about your health and preventing cancer, preventing all degenerative disease, supplementation in the world we live today is not an option. It's not a recommendation, it's an absolute requirement. And then we have function, core function. When we talk about function, I'm mainly going to refer to nerve system function, the function of your nervous system. Because your nervous system, your brain, your spinal cord, and all the spinal nerves actually control every cell, organ, and tissue in your body, particularly the ones, for purposes of our talk tonight, that are controlling your immune system. Cancer is a disease of a weak what? Immune system. So everything we're going to talk about tonight is going to revolve around supporting your immune system. It's been said before, you can curse the darkness or you can light more candles. In the case of cancer, you can use chemotherapy, radiation, medication, surgery, or you can support the immune system. Again, same thing. Curse the darkness, treat the cancer, kill the cancer, or strengthen the immune system, and make the body so strong that cancer just does not find it a habitable environment to survive. Does that make sense? And that's really I can call it the alternative approach, but really, when you say the word alternative, that means that it's not as valid as mainstream medicine today. And that's not true at all. In fact, the survival rates with modern, conventional cancer treatment like chemo is like 2.1%. That's the survival rate in the United States here. And those are people living literally beyond 5 years after their treatment. So it's not very effective. It may look effective short term because it may kill the cancer, but when you decimate the immune system under those treatments, it's only a matter of time until what? It comes back. Yeah. And so just had another patient today, and she started care a while ago, and she had just started care after her chemotherapy. And now she was on the rebound, and she's getting adjusted, eating good, exercising, but she did the conventional treatment. And I just did everything I could support her after the fact, but lying deep under the surface of how good she felt and how optimistic she was on the outside, what happened on the inside? The cancer came back. And so now, I passed along some of the information that some of my colleagues have done, and some of our close friends have done, there are other options. There are other places. In some of these instances, you have to leave the United States to get these treatments. But anybody who I know who have gone through these courses, where they're there for a couple of weeks, whether it be Tijuana or in Spain, they come back with their body and their blood completely 100% free and clear of cancer, without chemotherapy or radiation or any of those other things. It's just a matter of exploring and learning and understanding what the options are. And unfortunately, traditional medical doctors are not giving those options today, mainly because they don't have the training to do so. And even if they did have the training to do so, they would have to practice outside the United States to render that treatment, even though they know it's the truth. So we've had a lot of those conversations. So how does cancer do its ugly work? It spreads, it metastasizes. You can having cancer in your body at any given time is really a normal thing. Your body makes cancer. Babies have cancer, kids have cancer, we have cancer. Your body kills off the cancer when the immune system is strong. But when cancer does its ugly work, it's spreading rampantly throughout the body. And by the time you're diagnosed with cancer, 76% of lung cancers, 55% of colorectal cancers, and 37% of breast cancers have already spread by the time it's already diagnosed. So by the time they find it, it's what? Too late. So when you're going for, rectal exams, proctological exams, mammograms, and the screenings may seem like a good idea, when they refer to them as preventative, are they really preventative if they catch it after it's already there? No, the only true prevention in terms of cancer prevention is really the lifestyle aspects of it, which is what we're going to talk about tonight. As we age, our bodies become more inflamed. The more chronic the inflammation, the greater the risk of cancer. Inflammation spreads cancer like wildfire. It's like a forest fire. So I want to talk to you about mainly one of the most dangerous ways that it spreads, and that's through your lymphatic system. Your immune system is comprised of many different systems in the body. How many of you guys know that your intestines supports your immune system significantly? Yeah, how many of you guys take a probiotic? Yes, very, very important. We see nutritional deficiencies when people don't take probiotics. If you take antibiotics, if you've taken antibiotics in the past, you know how it destroys the good flora, the good bacterial flora in your intestines. Since it's so critical and your immune system is dependent on that bacteria, it is absolutely vital that you are on some sort of probiotic supplement to keep your immune system strong. That being said, many of you guys know that vitamin C helps to boost the immune system, B vitamins help to boost the immune system, but I think what we may have overlooked is going back to our earliest days, like in biology class, you remember the B cells and the T killer lymphocyte cells and all that? Well, your lymphatic system literally has 2 to 3 times more volume than your blood in your body. Everything in your body is literally bathed in lymphatic system. I mean, it's really the major player in your immune system. So I want to talk to you about that because when it comes to controlling the spread of cancer and making sure that your body can keep cancer at bay and kill it off as effectively as possible when it's supposed to do that, and you don't know when it's supposed to do that, only the intelligence and the wisdom in your body knows when it's supposed to do that. You've got to make sure that this system is working properly so it can do what it's supposed to do when it's supposed to do it. Right or right? So what are the key components of your immune system, organs-wise? Your thymus gland. That helps with the formation of the T cells, the tonsils, and the adenoids. How many of you guys had your tonsils removed? Wow. You know, I remember when they did that to my brother, and I'm saying to myself, I think God put that in there for a reason. Why do you want to just go ripping those things out? If they're inflamed, it just means that they're overworked. They're doing what they're supposed to do, fighting off an infection. Same thing when the lymphatic glands are swollen. You got the lymph nodes here behind the neck, and you got lymph nodes under here. When doctors find those or you feel those, that just means that it's fighting off an infection. The body's doing what it's supposed to do. So when you have those things taken out of your body like that, or your spleen, you're at a disadvantage in terms of the strength of your immune system long term. The spleen filters blood, distributes T and B cells. Lymph glands store white blood cell formation. Bone marrow, B cells are produced in bone marrow. So these are all, huge components of the immune system that are completely overlooked. And, we'll reach for this supplement, vitamin D and vitamin C and this and that, which is not a bad idea. But what about the amazing gift that we've been given, a smart, intelligent body that knows how to launch an army of attack out on these invaders that come into our body? Immediately, it goes right to work doing it the way it's supposed to do. And it'll do it the right way, and it'll kill off the cancers and the foreign invaders as long as there's no interference. Now, who puts the interference into our body? We do. Where does it come from? A number of different things, and that's what we're going to uncover tonight. So, you have your cardiovascular system, you got your red blood cells and your white blood cells, and everything is bathed in that lymph. Now that lymph fluid is huge. It's so vital that you keep that going, because that's what allows the communication for those defenses in your body. Now, a lymphatic system that's overworked, that doesn't have the proper drainage, is going to cause backup. That's where you're going to feel sluggish, you're going to feel tired. Maybe you have inflammation or chronic infections, digestive issues, weight gain, joint pain. A lot of that comes from the lymphatic system being blocked up and log jammed. And how does it happen? It happens by becoming sluggish. Maxine, you're welcome to come up here if you want. We got a couple of them. Yeah, everybody welcome Maxine. Give her a big round of applause. I love her. Come on in. Give me a hug. There you go. That's a loving way to embarrass you, isn't it?
Yeah, really.
Front seat, the whole family, I got. So what can we do to get the lymphatic system moving so that things don't get log jammed and backed up, and you don't go to a doctor and they feel all your lymph nodes swollen and saying, "Holy smokes, we better get you in for a biopsy," you know? Or how do we make sure that this lymphatic system is moving so that we don't even get to that point in the first place? Move, that's right. Rebounding, yeah. What's rebounding, by the way? You ever see those little trampolines like this? Boing, 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 boing. So yeah, it gets your heart rate up, but most importantly, it gets these lymphatic glands moving. It gets the valves opening and closing so that it can pump that fluid in and out. That's why exercise is so important, guys. You don't have to jog. I mean, if you don't like rebounding, you can do a brisk walk. What else can you do? Yoga, Tai Chi, deep breathing. What else can you do? How about massage? Everybody say hello to Joe over there. Joe's our in-house massage therapist. And so some of you guys are going to get a free massage tonight just for being here. I'll share that with you in a minute. But you've got to move your muscles. You've got to, motion is life, as they say. Things got to move. What else can you do? Deep breathing exercises. Everybody take a deep breath in. Exhale. Deep breath in. Exhale. Again. Exhale. One more time. Exhale. Where do you feel that? Right here. The intercostal muscles. Contracting, pushing lymph, activating your immune system, sucking in oxygen, oxygenating, energizing, alkalizing. Cancer hates all that stuff, guys, by the way. So it's a really good idea to make sure you're using that. You use it before you lose it. Eat fruits and vegetables. They're filled with chlorophyll, enzymes, and acids. All natural lymph system cleansers, preventing cancer. So most cancers metastasize via what? Your lymph system, okay? That's the main takeaway that I want you to get tonight. Most importantly, we've got to keep moving. Very, very important. It's up to us to keep that running smoothly. It's the most effective thing that you can do to prevent cancer. Cancer-causing drugs. I want to talk to you about this. And I want to make a pointed comment here that I don't want anybody to be offended. I'm not passing judgment on anyone if you do this stuff or not. It's informational, and whatever you decide to do with your lifestyle or without it, it's completely up to you. So please don't feel like I'm implicating anyone personally here. These are just facts. I'm giving you a message. Don't kill the messenger. Women taking one ibuprofen a day for 5 years or more increase the risk of breast cancer by 50%. That comes from the National Journal of Cancer Research. So they tell you to take an aspirin a day to keep the doctor away, or to prevent a heart attack. But in effect, what's happening is you're causing another disease. I don't take ibuprofen. I take aspirin. An aspirin a day for 5 years or more increases the risk of breast cancer by 80%. So it doesn't matter if it's ibuprofen, aspirin, not to mention the damage it does to your liver. Antibiotic use, we know this. So the next time you come down with an infection, whether it be a bronchial infection or this infection and that infection, before you just take that prescription on the doctor's word at face value, ask yourself if there's anything that you can do to boost and strengthen your immune system without putting yourself at risk for destroying your immune system and leaving yourself at risk for more chronic reinfections of the same thing and long-term chronic cancer. So antibiotic use studies show are associated with an increased risk of breast cancer. The more use of antibiotics, the higher your risk of breast cancer. There's a nurses' health study, 88,000 nurses were in this, published in the Journal of National Cancer Institute. They said regular use of aspirin for 20 years or more is associated with an increased risk of pancreatic cancer. One of the most recent studies showed that in cancer epidemiology, biomarkers and prevention, they said that women who are long-term users of statin drugs, cholesterol drugs, have between an 83 and 143% increased risk of breast cancer. Okay, so from a medical journal. And by the way, everything that I take here are from peer-reviewed journals. Radiation side effects. And again, this is one option to go, but the question is, are you signing off on that waiver and having this pointedly explain to you what the side effects are? Heart problems, lowered white blood cell count, weakened immune system, lung problems. Radiotherapy radiation wavelengths were only recently found by UCLA, the Comprehensive Cancer Center research, to transform breast cancer cells into highly malignant cancer stem-like cells. That's the effect that radiation has. For the exact reason why they're giving you the treatment, it has the exact effect of causing more cancer, the same way that chemotherapy does. So the question becomes, how do we kill the cancer without killing the patient? That's a good question to ask. Would you guys not agree?
Yeah.
So, all right, so let's talk about mammography, because again, there are alternatives on this. So the conventional mammographies, all of the studies coming out now are showing that there is no benefit. Particularly for premenopausal women, they're at risk the most for radiation exposure, increasing the risk of cancer, and then obviously the painful compression of the breast. So if you have swollen lymph nodes or cancerous lesions in your breast that have not yet been detected, and they do a mammogram, squeezing down with 50 pounds of pressure or so, between 25 and 50 pounds of pressure, if that bursts the lesion, that causes the cancer to spread. And they've known this as early as 1925. So, I wonder how many people actually know this, or are we just going blindly for the regular mammogram routine screens, or is there another way, like thermography? So, I have some cards for you. Donna's in the house tonight. Donna, if you can raise your hand. Donna's here tonight. She can help you if you are interested in an alternative to mammography. It's called thermography, which is a very safe, non-invasive alternative. We have her cards up there and brochures. If anybody's interested in avoiding the harmful effects of mammography, there are safer alternatives. I just wanted you to know that, and the resources are available, and she'll be available to speak tonight if anybody has any questions on that as well. Prostate cancer. How many of you guys are aware of the PSA testing? What does the PSA supposedly indicate? Prostate cancer. Where did that come from? Well, I'm not really sure, but it doesn't seem entirely accurate. According to the man who invented the PSA test, Dr. Albin, he said it's a hugely expensive public disaster and hardly more effective than a coin toss. As I've been trying to make clear for many years, he says, PSA testing cannot detect prostate cancer, and more importantly, it can't distinguish between the two types of cancers, the prostate cancer, the one that'll kill you and the one that won't. So there are things that will increase PSA without it being prostate cancer. Things like ibuprofen, benign prostate enlargement, which is inevitable part of aging. I mean, every man's prostate is going to enlarge as they get older. And also infections elevate your PSA as well. So men with high PSA readings can be cancer-free, and men with low PSA readings can have full-blown cancer. There's no correlation at all. The guy, again, this is the doctor who created the test. He said, I never dreamed that my discovery 4 decades ago would lead to such a profit-driven public health disaster. Unquote, in his own words. Okay, so I know this says race from the cure, not race to the cure. And I know this is a touchy and sensitive subject. There are some of you in the room who may even be involved with this. And I applaud you for your humanitarian efforts. I know the intention is good, even for the people who do these type of events. We're all in it to save lives. Did we ever ask ourselves where that money really goes? Does the money really go to cancer treatment, or does it go to cancer prevention? And then you have to go back to the roots of when this whole breast cancer awareness thing started. It started in 1985. Who began the breast cancer awareness campaign? None other than a drug company, AstraZeneca. Okay, so that it could what? By bringing more awareness to cancer, inevitably more people are going to be diagnosed if there are more mammograms, which gives them more of a market for their what? For their drugs. How many of you guys have heard Arimidex? You've heard of tamoxifen, right? Exactly. That's where this whole thing originated from, and then from there, it's gained a lot of social acceptance, and that's where it catches like wildfire. It really is amazing. It really is, especially in this age of social media. People don't know why they're doing what they're doing. They're just getting on board because everybody else is doing it, not knowing really what they're supporting and where it's going. Many of them, again, with good intentions, but where does the money go? None of it goes to cancer prevention. None of it goes to educational programs, to children, kids, teachers, parents, changing really where cancer starts, and that is lifestyle. There's no profit in that, guys. There's really no profit in that. All the profit is in what? Drugs, yeah. I mean, when you stop and think about it, there's been billions and billions and billions of dollars raised, and all of that has gone to pharmaceutical research. How much closer are we today to a cure for cancer than we were 40 years ago when President Nixon declared war on cancer? Honestly, we have 4 times more cancer now than we did back then. So if you stand back and we can really see the truth and the life in the trees, then I would hope that you would do more investigating before you make a charitable contribution. Whatever you decide is up to you, but understand where this all comes from. Incidentally, AstraZeneca's top-selling breast cancer drug, tamoxifen, has been shown to cause cancer, leukemia, liver cancer, uterine cancer, gastrointestinal cancer. You can do the research. Everything's on the internet, guys. So this. It's kind of ironic because when you go into doctor's offices or hospitals, when you're going in for chemo or any conventional treatments, you're gonna have hospital food there. And what kind of hospital food are they gonna give you there? Anything that's gonna be strongly alkaline, healthy, preventative in nature, or are they gonna give you something that actually promotes the formation of cancer? It's like hospital food, pies, desserts, breads, chocolates, pastries, all carbs, all sugars, Jell-O. Yeah, everything that breaks down into sugar that cancer hijacks, glucose, to make more cancer. Mashed potatoes, yeah. And then, when you go into the doctor's office, what do you always leave with? A big smile and a piece of candy. So, I mean, again, where's the public awareness? Where's the support, really, to do something good for society, long-lasting? Where's the intention? Again, it's really obvious, guys. The intention is in economics. Cancer is an industry. Please understand that. And I'm not talking about doctors or people. I'm sure, most people I like to assume that people are good at heart, that they have the best of intentions. When you understand there's an industry and there's a system where that's generating billions and billions and billions of dollars, we just get sucked right in like sheep to the slaughter. And I don't want to see that happen to anybody needlessly. Research shows that 70 to 85% of all cancers are treatable, reversible, and curable, and preventable with proper what? Lifestyle. Yeah, with lifestyle. So, 5 to 10% of it comes from genetics. If cancer runs in your family, that's fine, but that's not a sentence for you. That's not a reason for you to get a double mastectomy as a means of prevention. Just remember, I always say God doesn't make junk. He didn't give you the pieces in your body. Whatever you've got serves a purpose, and it comes with manufacturer, recommendations and specs, no different than a Michelin tire. If you're supposed to get 100,000 miles out of it, make sure that you stay in alignment with its performance doing what it needs to do. Same thing with your body. If you're supposed to get 80 to 120 years, make sure that you support your body with the proper lifestyle. Stay in alignment with the way your body's supposed to work. So the core 4 really stresses and supports the environmental factors, which are really going to determine whether or not you get cancer, not your genetics. It's called epigenetics. Have you ever heard of epigenetics before? Epigenetics is outside of the genetics. University of Columbia School of Public Health said 95% of all cancer is due to interference, diet, and the accumulation of toxins. Okay, so disease is epigenetically controlled, not genetically. And there have been studies, Dr. Bruce Lipton, he wrote a great book, and I read it many years ago, and he said that, and he's a prominent medical professor, he said less than 2% of the population have genetic disorders that are uncontrollable by lifestyle. So literally, you can take this to the bank, 98% of what's going to determine whether or not you get cancer or heart disease or die from any of those degenerative diseases has to do with your lifestyle. Has to do with your what? Lifestyle. Yeah, so if it is to be, it's up to me. Those 10 two-letter words by Mary Kay, it turned out to be true. So one of the things that we have to look at very carefully is our nerve system. I can talk to you about eating good and exercising till I'm blue in the face. But if your nerve system is short-circuiting, if the pathway from the brain to your lymphatic system, your thyroid gland, your thymus, your spleen, your white blood cells, if there's a distorted communication, a disruption in the normal neurological communication, is your body stronger or weaker? If it's weaker, what happens to your immune system? Stronger or weaker? Weaker. So if there's interference to your nervous system, then you're going to have a problem. Your immune system's going to be deficient. You're going to be more at odds to get cancer. They found this in Rochester School of Medicine. Dr. David Felton, professor of neurobiology and anatomy, is quoted as saying, nerve fibers go into virtually every organ of your immune system. We found that if you took the nerves away from the spleen or the lymph nodes, you virtually stopped the immune response in its tracks. And we talked about the spleen and the lymph nodes before, didn't we? How important they are to work. But what he's saying is that those organs in and of themselves are stupid, they're dumb. They can't do anything in and of themselves without the what? Without the nervous system. So your nervous system is Houston Control. It's the supreme controller, communicator, commander, harmonizer, governor, director of all functions of your immune system in every cell, organ, tissue in your body. That system cannot have any interference to it. Otherwise, cancer gets a foothold and starts spreading and wreaking havoc long before you know it. So the question is, how does that occur? We call this subluxation. In our office, this is what we check people for. The detection and the correction of subluxation, which is a neurological disruption or interference or distortion in the system that's trying to kill off cancer in your body and keep it well and healthy. And the problem is that you can't feel when there is disruption of those nerves. You can't feel when there's pressure on the nerves in your neck or your back until it's been there for years or decades and you're in a crisis. I want everybody to understand that, because this is called subluxation. This is something I would equate to like termites or a cavity. You don't start taking care of your teeth when you're 50 years old, do you? When do you start practicing dental hygiene? When you're a kid, okay? Now, when your teeth fall out, you can get new teeth. But if your spine and your nerve system rot out and deteriorate and degenerate, what happens at that point?
You become a politician.
You become a politician. It's too late. And that's not a good thing. So would it not behoove us, it stands to reason, that your spine is something that should be checked on a regular basis? Yes or yes?
Yes.
Yeah, as a preventative means, you go for your dental checkup, you go for your mammogram or your prostate. Everybody's all consumed with these things to prevent disease. But the real thing that's going to prevent disease is your body working without interference, doing what it was designed to do so brilliantly. If it was smart enough to take you from a sperm and an egg, and bam, conception to birth with what you've got right now, don't you think it's smart enough to know what to do to keep you healthy for 80 to 120 years? Yeah, it doesn't need any help, it just needs no interference. This is the most important investment that you could ever make in your life. Forget about eating good and exercising. That's all for naught if your neurology is dysfunctional, disrupted, and distorted. None of it works right. None of it can be assimilated and do what it's supposed to do. So studies have been done, and namely, the Cancer Prevention Research Institute, this was done in 1975. Dr. Ronald Pirro did a study, and he found that chiropractic patients, they did a control study, they found that the patients in the group who were under chiropractic care relative to cancer patients had immune systems that were 300% stronger. Why is that? Because what did we say your nerve system controls? Your immune system. And if your immune system is strong, guess what you get less of, statistically speaking? Cancer. If 1 out of 3 people are getting cancer, and now you're over here making sure that your nerve system is clear and strong, what's the likelihood of cancer happening at that point? Your chances are much, much less. And there was another study done, this was Canadian Memorial University, and they were comparing the adjustments to something called Proleukin. Proleukin is a synthetic form of interleukin-2 that your body makes. For those of you guys who work in hospitals, you know they give Proleukin to people with AIDS and cancers. It's a powerful immune system booster. Well, what they found was interesting. They found that when people got adjusted, when they adjusted the mid-back, they got up off the table, they measured their interleukin-2 levels in their blood naturally. They found that it was elevated for 2 hours after one thoracic chiropractic adjustment, right in this region, right here. Why? Where do the nerves go? To that area. Spleen. Hello? Spleen? What did we talk about with the spleen? What does that make? T cells, yeah? Immediate immune response. when you put your hands on somebody and you move the bones, your body starts healing. Not sometimes, all the time. And it's amazing to think that, you know, you can spend all this money at GNC or you buy all these supplements and you're going and doing all these things, but or maybe on prescription drugs, but you know what? Your body's a walking miracle. It's the greatest pharmacy on planet Earth. Always remember, your body knows what to do. It just doesn't need any interference. And so, one of the ways that you could tell if you have interference or not is by thermography. We use this in a different way than like a breast thermography. This, we roll up the surface of your spine. And we look for different patterns which tell us if there's dysfunctional neurology. The one on the top where you see all the red going off the charts there, those are problem areas. The one on the bottom you could see is a normal neurological pattern. And that's an easy way to screen without taking x-rays. And we do that for an initial evaluation when people come in and they do an exam. And if for some of you guys here are guests and you have never had your spine checked or you haven't had it checked in a long time, hopefully at this point I've been a little convincing in saying it's probably a good idea. Yes, would you agree?
Yes.
So if you'd like to have that done, my staff at the front, you see Callie or Deborah, Dr. Denson, they could give you a coupon to have that done for only $40 if you'd like. But just see them tonight because the offer's only good tonight, and then we'll get you an appointment and we'll take care of that for you. Easy as pie. And we can tell you right there on the spot how healthy or not your nerve system is. Okay, I want to recognize a few star patients. Just like to take a mental break here. I'm always really scared when I look at the clock and I see I'm only halfway done through my presentation. I'm talking way too much. Have you ever heard me say that before? No. Never. Never heard Dr. Young say that. Oh boy. All right. Okay. So, okay, let me tell you a little bit about our awards here. We have perfect adjustment attendance. These are for folks who have never, ever, ever missed an adjustment. One of the reasons why we love this, they get excited about it because they don't have to sit there on the phone all night saying, hey, where were you? Can I get you rescheduled? They get to go home and have a normal life instead of setting up a cot and camp here. But we get excited, honestly, because when you're on track with your adjustments, you get the best results, and that's what we love to see, and that's what you guys love to see. So we love to just recognize you guys for at least some of you who have really put your best foot forward. Is Jackie here? Jackie Odette? No, she's out of town. She went out of town. Where's Jackie? Jackie? Oh, I'm looking right at you. Stand up. Everybody give Jackie. Pam and Howard. Pam and Howard, please stand up. Give them a big round of applause. And Lorna, lucky Lorna, stand up. It's your lucky day. Good job, guys. Awesome. All right, hustle up there. Dr. Denson, what are you doing? Hustle. All right, or 4 degree. So these are for people who have been to 6 or more workshops. We have Nina Midkiff, and we have Josephine and Barrington Williams. Please stand up. Everybody give them a big round of applause. 6 or more workshops. Has it been?
That's been a long time.
A long time, yeah. Well, you deserve it.
Oh, okay.
You deserve it. Good job. Okay. What else? Who else? Yeah, that's it. All right. There we go. Okay, so everybody give Deborah a hand. Okay, here's what I want to do. Got another 20 or 25 minutes. I hope you guys can hang in there. Try not to be too long-winded, but I know that the mind can only absorb what the sea can endure, so please stand up. Turn to your neighbor on the right. Put your hands on their shoulders. Squeeze, get all that stress out. All the stress. Get it out. Get it out. Go ahead, squeeze. Love your neighbor. Oh, yeah, that's good. Oh, Irving. Karate chop. I gotta finish this workshop. Karate chop. Good. All right, turn around. Love your other neighbor. Massage, squeeze. Good, good, good. Awesome. All right, karate chop. Very nice, very nice. All right, give yourselves a round of applause. All right, so the real massages will be after the workshop tonight. There'll be a handful of folks who get the massages, and those of you who reach under your seats, there should be a little piece of paper under there, a golden ticket, for lack of a better term, which is going to show you where you're at with that. Where your ass at? Who's got one? All right, this is what it looks like. Raise them up. Who are the winners? Who are the winners? All right, when you're done, you want to go over on that side, and you'll get to meet Joe. Tell them what you got going on, whether it's stress or whatever issues you got, and they'll take care of it. You got to sit up front to get the coupons. It could be though. So guys, turn your attention up here. Again, I'll illustrate what's happening here. These are insulin receptors on a tumor, and what he's showing is that cancer actually takes glucose in your body and it hijacks it and it brings it right to the cancer cells. So that's really the long and the short of it. And this was, this was an interview that was done. You can find it on YouTube. It was like on ABC, Sanjay Gupta, whatever his name is. But it's a very explicit and pointed interview of them illustrating how sugar feeds cancer. And that's the bottom line. Sugar feeds cancer. And it doesn't matter if it's the white stuff that you're putting in your coffee or it's the white stuff that breaks down from your pasta, bread, potatoes, and rice. Sugar, sugar. And a diet high in sugar is a person who has the higher likelihood in getting cancer. So we have to ask ourselves, again, where does our lifestyle come into this picture? Your immune system is going to weaken when you have processed foods, white flour, white sugar, chemically enhanced foods, artificial ingredients, aspartame, diet foods, like Diet Coke with aspartame, which, in temperatures over 100 degrees turns to formaldehyde. Who here knows what formaldehyde is used for? To embalm dead people. Yeah. So I got to tell you that it's been a lie, really, that's been perpetuated on us. Diet foods don't cause you to lose weight, they cause you to gain weight in the long run because they're neurotransmitter and hormonal disruptors. And when your neurotransmitters and hormones are all out of whack, your metabolism shuts down, and it doesn't matter how many diets you go on, your metabolism is going to go slower and slower and slower, and you'll always have a problem with your weight. Not to mention, obviously, the issues that it causes with cancer. It's just not a good idea. Any of those packets that you see with colors at the table when you go out to dinner, the pink, the yellow, the blue, it's worse than sugar because it's chemicals. It's proven to cause brain tumors and cancer in laboratory animals. Are you a laboratory animal? Of course not. Why would we put that in our body? It just doesn't make sense. I can't find any justification in it for any reason at all. So, there are other things that we could use for our sweet tooth, like stevia. How many of you guys use stevia? Easy, simple. Very, very readily available. You can get it in any supermarket, and that's the way to go. Let me talk to you about a concept here which is vitally important to your understanding. If you get this, it's impossible for cancer to ever get a foothold in your body. It's called the alkaline acid balance. Your body's supposed to be slightly alkaline. You know what alkaline is? Batteries, right? You buy alkaline batteries, you want something that's going to be energized and give you power for a long time. So from an energy standpoint, just remember, if you want to energize, you have to what? Alkalize. But then we also have the aspect of using the pool as an example. And how many of you guys have ever seen a pool like filthy clean like that? Is that something that you want to go for a nice, enjoying, calming, relaxing swim in? Heck no! It's disgusting, nasty. What's growing in there? Algae, fungus, yeast, mold, bacteria. Guess what? The same stuff grows inside of your body. All right, it just needs to have the right conditions. So these things like fungus and bacteria, yeast, mold, cancer are nothing more than opportunistic vectors, which means they will rear their ugly head if and only if they are given the what? Opportunity. Yes. So when the conditions are ripe, cancer will gain a foothold, and when the conditions are not nice, it will be starved out of the body. And that's typically what they do in places like the Gerson Institute and some of these other institutes like in Tijuana, Mexico. They literally do that in every way conceivable with every non-conventional means and approach to starve cancer out of the body. So this is an easy one for us because it just makes so much sense. Your body has an internal ecology, and you wouldn't pollute. You wouldn't just drive down the street and just throw your bags and your trash out the window, would you? Nobody with like a good conscience would do that. Like I can't believe when I see people do that. I'm like, I can't believe they just did that. That's insane. But yet, when we're having sodas and inorganic coffee, alcohol, processed meats, foods, sugar, lots of carbohydrates, starchy carbs, refined foods, that's exactly what we're doing. We're polluting our internal ecosystem. And when we do that, what happens is it takes the pH out of balance. So if our pool was if we had a color to our pool, like if our body was a pool, it would be getting green on the inside. It would be creating an ecosystem that's very supportive for fungus, yeast, mold, bacteria, viruses. In a weakened state of health here for cancer to get a foothold. As opposed to that, the perfect pH where your body's supposed to be is slightly alkaline. 7.3, 7.365, right around there. Now it just so happens that a diet that's rich in fruits and vegetables, low sugar fruits and vegetables, omega-3 oils, water, well hydrated, all of these things are very, very alkalizing and very cleansing for our system. But the problem is how much of that is in our SAD, SAD diet, standard American diet, right? Not a whole lot. You try to get people to eat vegetables or kids to eat vegetables, and it's like, I mean, it's crazy today that we should be eating this. The vast majority of our diet should be greens and good fats. Compared to the food pyramid that we learned in elementary school, like the bottom part, they told us 60% should be rice, carbs, pastas, breads, and all that junk. That's the number one cause that we have 1 million new cases of diabetes every year. And not to mention the cancer that goes with it. So that's all been established to subsidize the food industry. Remember economics, guys? And then you have the drug industry. But they're all in cahoots together. That's why they call it the Food and Drug Administration, because they get to make you ill with your lifestyle, and then they get to treat you with medication for the rest of your life. So from cradle to grave, they've got their hand in your back pocket. They take your health and then they take your wealth. So you look at this and you're like, wow, that just makes a lot of sense. Why can't I just eat alkaline? You can. It just has to be a shift from what we've been taught. And even the conventional recommendations that we've been given, like the low-fat diet, a diet low in saturated fat, that's bunk. That's bunk science. There's nothing wrong with having a little meat here and there as long as it's grass-fed. And then the meat, the grass-fed meat, actually has half of that meat is the same in terms of monounsaturated oil as olive oil. It's the same exact thing. What about butter? Another saturated fat they told you to stay away from, which is a fat burner, and it's good for your brain, and it's really, really healthy. So we've had all these, conventional dietary myths that we've adopted and have increased all the cases of heart disease that we have now, and cancer as well. So it would do us all well just to have one recommendation, guys. If you can make 60% of your diet greens and good fats, that would be the foundation of your new food pyramid, so to speak. Does that make sense? Okay, so we can go through this a little bit, basic stuff like, cucumbers, broccoli, kale, peppers, avocados, spinach, celery, the greener the better, for lack of a better term. But then you gotta look at, what's that?
I thought vinegar was good for you.
Oh, great question. Oil and vinegar. Well, we know extra virgin olive oil is alkaline, but vinegar is not. Anything that is fermented is acidic. Okay, so that would go hand in hand with alcohol, wine. So they know that people who drink more than 2 glasses of wine a day, have more than 2 alcoholic beverages a day, have a higher risk of cancer. That's where that came from, because it's acidic. Now, are there benefits, to wine? Yeah, it's got resveratrol in it, which is good for your immune system and good for your arteries. But to get those benefits, you need to drink like 30 bottles. It's just like they haven't really quantified it. That's why we have supplements for that, so you don't have to kill yourself. So really, what it comes down to is what the acidity is doing to your life, and it gets down on a cellular level. So when I say the word acid, if we poured acid on this floor right here, right now, what would it do to the carpet? It would burn a hole right through it. And it's the same thing in our body, in our mouth, for example. You know that sugar doesn't cause cavities. Sugar does not cause cavities. Sugar breaks down into acid. And if acid has no problem burning through the carpet or, floor, they wash blood off of the asphalt with it. Highway patrolmen have done that for years. It has no problem burning through the enamel in your teeth, right? So it's the acid that actually causes the cavities. It destroys the enamel there. Now, if it can destroy a hard surface like that, do you think it has any problem destroying the integrity of the cells in your body? Since the cell walls are just made of delicate fat, what does that do? What type of effect does that have? Well, it destroys the integrity of the surface of the cell wall. It emulsifies the fat. This is a bilipid layer of fat around those cells. So the cell wall actually becomes obliterated by the acidic medium that it's living in. And so all those cells have a polarized charge. Inside the cell, it's positively charged. Outside the cell, it's negatively charged. And that's how the cells repel each other, so they can, go through the arteries as quickly as possible, and the veins, travel, and that's how the circulation works. But when the integrity of the cell wall is obliterated and the cell wall bursts, all the positive charges leak out. And now what happens? Now instead of repulsion, you have what? Attraction. That's when the cells start clumping together. Now they can't transport the oxygen properly. And guess where cancer loves to grow? As I said in the beginning tonight, where there's an environment deficient in oxygen, right? You ever heard of hyperbaric oxygen chambers? That's where people go to heal from cancer and strokes and stuff like that. Well, that's what happens when your cells are dying in an acidic medium. They're being destroyed, and they're clumping together, and they can't move through the cell. They can't transport oxygen. Your energy goes down. You get foggy-headed. You become depressed. Your immune system gets weakened, and that cell medium now becomes a fertile breeding ground for cancer to spread like wildfire. Does that make sense? So how do we go from here to here? You see how healthy these cells are? You don't see these jagged edges on some of these cells like they've bursted there. Clean, clear, defined. Well, you alkalize. What can you do to alkalize? One of the easiest things that you could do is drink water every day. Just drink water. I mean, they say drink half your body weight in fluid ounces, but most people who are doing that, they're drinking, soda, tea, coffee, and they're including that as fluid. It's not. Your body needs water. Your body is made up of 75% water. So, you get yourself a couple of liters, drink that all day. Problem is, most bottled water, like Dasani, is not alkaline. It's what? Acidic. Yeah, so you need like Evian, some of those good ones. What is Fiji. Fiji. And you look at the label and it says 7.2, 7.3. So you want to get a good, clean, pure, alkaline source of water if possible. That's an easy way to alkalize. Here's another easy way. You ever see when you go out to eat in a restaurant, they slice up lemon, they put it in your water? Guess what that does? It alkalizes your water. So if that works for your water, doesn't it work for your food too? Squeeze it all over your food. If you're having a salad or veggies, put it all over your veggies, your salad. Instead of olive oil and vinegar, have olive oil and freshly squeezed lemon or lime. Highly alkaline. In addition to that, because the cell walls are made up of fat, when your body's acidic, it'll hold on to fat as a means to rebuild and regenerate and protect itself from the acidic medium that it's living in. When your body now is alkaline, you've got that lymph working, and your body's well hydrated and it's more alkaline, it'll start to let that adipose abnormal fat tissue go because it doesn't need it as a survival mechanism anymore. Does that make sense? So now losing weight starts becoming easier. Your skin is clearer, your eyes are brighter. It's one of the healthiest things that you can do. Another healthy thing that you can do to alkalize is extra virgin olive oil. I mean on everything. You can't really go overboard with that. You put it on all of your foods. You don't need to measure it out, guys. You don't have to worry that there's in a tablespoon there's 15 grams of fat. Holy smokes, I'm going to gain so much weight from this. No, there's a difference between bad fat and good fat. Good fat doesn't make you gain fat. Good fat helps you burn fat. Did we get that? Good fat helps you burn fat. So when you have extra virgin olive oil, almonds, avocados, most days I'll take in 60, 70 grams of fat. That's enough to make some of you guys jump out of your seat. But the reality is that it's harder for me to keep weight on now than ever in my life because of my metabolic age, because my metabolism is working like somebody who's 15 years younger than me, because I went through the Nutrimos program and I got my metabolism fixed and I had my hormones and the neurotransmitters, all that back in balance. Now metabolically, my body is healthy and it's working and it's doing the way it's supposed to do, the things that it's supposed to do. And of course, part of that program is alkalizing. And that's what I'm taking you guys through right now. So it's one of the healthiest things that you can do. Basically fruits and vegetables are healthy, but are all fruits and vegetables healthy? Are all fruits and vegetables healthy? No. You have to look out for, number one, pesticides, herbicides, right? And so you've really got to do your homework on this, guys. You want to buy organic. And it really doesn't matter how expensive it is, because in the end, nothing's as expensive as chemotherapy, is it? Or radiation, or any of those conventional treatments. So you don't want to, pinch pennies to be, foolish with our future. It's always worth it. In the end, your health is worth it. But you've got to look out and just make sure that you're taking precautions with that. Yes?
How would you classify drinking of wine?
Drinking of wine?
Yes.
How would I classify it? As far as what?
You like to drink wine?
How often? Or
Should you drink it?
Should you drink it?
Yeah.
Well, everybody's got a different take on that. Do I see any harm in having a glass of wine here and there? Probably not. Everything in moderation. For the person who has a glass of wine like once a month on a Friday night when they go out for dinner, I don't think that's a big deal, honestly. But for somebody who's having it every day, a couple times a day, that's something that cumulatively is an issue. That's really what we're talking about with all these things, whether it's alcohol or pesticides, herbicides. It's cumulative. It's toxic. So there comes a point where your body. Remember I talked about the iceberg. Everything is below the surface, and you don't know how much is building up and where the burden's going to be until it spills over and your body winds up in crisis. So that's why you have to have your body working at purging this stuff and detoxifying and getting it out through detox programs and exercise and doing that. You've got to be getting all the junk out faster than it's coming in. Yes, sir?
I know you touched on pesticides, but what's your stance on genetically modified organisms?
Well, I think both you and I know that's bad
Well,
news.
I know. I really brought it up just in case if anybody here didn't know. I just wanted to...
Yeah, GMOs, does everybody know? You want to stay far, far away from that. GMOs, so it's been getting a lot of lead time on news stories and on the internet, and it's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up. But you want to learn to read labels, and so anything that's genetically modified, the easy stuff is like corn, but then you can go into soy. The funny thing about soy is everybody thinks soy is so healthy. But when you superheat soy, when you cook in it, it actually turns into MSG. I mean, it gives off MSG, and that causes your blood pressure to go up. And it's a neurotoxin, an excitotoxin that screws up your nerve system. And it increases estrogen levels, which increases your risk of cancer. So you've got to look out for these genetically modified things. Corn, I wouldn't touch corn with a 10-foot pole, guys. I go out for dinner, if I see corn, I'm scooping that out. Bad news. So, and you don't need it, you do just fine without it. It's not a vegetable, by the way, as far as I'm concerned. Go for fruits and vegetables, but go for low sugar fruits. Okay? So my recommendation for fruits, and by the way, the best fruits in the morning for cleansing your lymphatic system and energizing and keeping your blood sugar stable so that you don't feed cancer and keep your energy level stable. Low sugar fruits, berries, right? What kind of berries? Blueberries, boysenberries, raspberries, strawberries, blackberries. And have that with some good fat, you know, like coconut milk, almond butter, you know, have some good fat with that, and then have a protein shake with that as well. One of the reasons why I brought this up is so that you guys can see what I use every day. Okay, so this is a very this is a hypoallergenic substance. It's all protein. It's got a very low level detox component to it, and it's a multivitamin. That's what I have every day for my shake. There's no sugars in it at all, and that's the way I start my day every day. That's my breakfast. Not hungry for probably a good 3 hours easily because of all the good fat in there. And my blood sugar is stable, so you don't get this and then crash, like after you eat a croissant or a bagel or cereal. Doesn't matter how healthy the picture looks on the box, read the label, it'll show you how much sugar is in there. High fructose corn syrup, which is what? Sugar. Corn syrup, which is what? Strawberry puree. Concentrate, which is what? Glycerin, which is what? Sugar, which is what? You get the point. I guarantee if you read most of these labels of a lot of the foods that look healthy, you'll find that it's mostly sugar and hydrogenated fats, which cause inflammation at the surface of the cells, which causes and spreads cancer. There you go. So I give you an idea. It's very simple. Here's a good rule of thumb. If you can't pronounce it, don't eat it. Cancer killers. Replace the bad fats with good fats. Good fats are anti-inflammatory. Good fats are cancer killers. Good fats put out the fire, so to speak. Extra virgin olive oil. Make sure that you cook it on low heat. There's 2 oils and only 2 oils I would ever cook with. Extra virgin olive oil and coconut oil. You want to fry your foods in coconut oil because it'll take up to 375. But olive oil, you don't want to burn that. You got to keep it low. If you burn it, if you see it turn brown, it went rancid and it just became a bad fat. So be careful with that. Avocados, avocado oil, coconut oil. There's a couple of ways you can use coconut oil. You can cook with it. You can fry with it. You can take a scoop of it, right down the hatch. It's good for your what?
Hair.
It's good for your hair. It's good for your skin. It's the ultimate sunscreen, by the way, without toxins in it that actually cause skin cancer.
What was that?
Coconut oil, yeah. So you want to get the, obviously you want to get the organic, and you can put it in your coffee. Yeah, you see the coffee there? Wow. How's coffee a cancer killer? Okay, let's quantify this, guys. Qualify it. There's a difference between, Starbucks, which I admit I'll have occasionally. Starbucks is all coffee basically, if it's not organic, if it's inorganic and not mountain grown, has the highest concentration of pesticides in it. So you got to realize there's a difference between organic and inorganic coffee. If you're going to have coffee and you want to have the benefits that come with it, not just thermogenic or fat burning benefits, but also the antioxidants and the minerals like zinc. One of the things that organic mountain grown coffee is laden with is zinc, which is highly supportive of your thymus gland, which is a major part of your what? Immune system. Yeah. So it has cancer killing benefits to it. Now, when you take that and you want to put coconut oil in it, you might start now, creating a lot of different varieties and options to what your morning or daily routine looks like. Because how many of you guys have seen sometimes you'll get that initial hit or kick from the caffeine, and then you'll come down and you'll feel like you're coming down, you need a cup of coffee. Sometimes it'll happen to some people. Genetically, people have different sensitivities to caffeine. But one of the good things is when you put butter in your coffee or coconut oil in your coffee, what it does is the body actually perceives that medium chain triglyceride. It processes it like a carbohydrate. So you have this long-lasting stream of energy, and it keeps that caffeine boost, for lack of a better term, going so that your energy never peters out. So these are cool things. I mean, I routinely put butter in my coffee now. It's good for your brain. And again, it's good for fat burning too. It's one of the things that's helping keep my metabolism going. Avocados, always put avocados on my salad. Almonds, walnuts, olive oil, flaxseed, coconut milk, great thing to have. Again, to make your shakes with in the morning. One of the good things that you can do is with shakes, you can use them as meal substitutes, whether it's in the morning or for lunch. So you can have greens for lunch. You know, like you can make a vegetable smoothie for lunch with a typical protein powder like that. Just put all your greens in there, your kale, your cucumbers, and just mix it up. And in the morning, just have your fruits. I wouldn't do like 2 shakes a day unless you're really trying to lose weight or anything like that. But you can have a veggie smoothie in the morning for breakfast, or you can have a fruit smoothie. Either one of those will work. But what I always like to do in any of the smoothies, make sure you have a good healthy fat in there, whether it be almond milk or coconut milk. Was that your question? Yes. Yes.
I just wanted to make a quick comment. A lot of people have gotten excited because Starbucks has supposedly started offering coconut milk for their beverages. Be very leery and very careful because it's being mixed with sugar and water.
Oh, yeah.
It is not pure coconut milk. And so be very careful if you're going into Starbucks and thinking this is a healthy option.
It's interesting you say that because I used to in the mornings or whenever if I had a cup of coffee, I would put like brown sugar, like turbinado sugar in there. I'm like, it's not a big deal. So go to Starbucks, have like 2 pumps of hazelnut instead of 4. And when I went through the Nutrimost program, I cut out all sugar. So I've completely lost all my cravings for sugar. And what I found out was that the thermogenic benefits that I thought I was getting, the fat-burning benefits that I thought I was getting in the morning before my workout was totally negated because of the sugar that I put in there. So I just want to encourage you guys that when you kill the sugar and when you get it out when it's gone, you'll get so much more benefit from the food in terms of its absorbability and all the health benefits that you're supposed to have. Okay, well let me do this. Out of respect for everybody so that we get out on time, I've got just a handful of slides I want to go through, and then write your questions down please so that you don't forget, and then come up and see me at the end. So if anybody has questions, we'll save it for the end. Just write them down. It is important to me. I just want to make sure I finish up with this. Grass-fed meats and eggs, fatty fish. Be careful with your fish. Make sure it's not farm-raised. Okay, so anti-breast cancer foods, red cabbage. You look for the foods that have the deep colors. Red cabbage, pomegranates, beets, radishes, carrots, red apples, sweet potatoes. You look for these things. They have the beta-carotene. They have all the antioxidants that are cancer fighters. Grapes, and so on the way up and on the way down, as far as whether we're going to be cancer fighting or cancer fertilizing, you'll see the more of these cancer fighting veggies we have, the more effective our proactive plan is going to be against cancer prevention. But the more of this we have, all those snacks that we say, well, it's just a little thing here, a little thing there. The popcorn with the hydrogenated fats, the donuts, the sugar cereals, canola oil, cottonseed oil, vegetable oil, or Yoplait. What's in Yoplait? Sugar. Aspartame, sugar, yeah. White bread, all the junk, even the white pasta. What's in the white pasta? Just breaks down into sugar. Cancer's going to hijack the sugar there. Margarine, country crock, the white stuff, the sodas, all of that eventually is the iceberg, the bigger part of it, which is below the surface. And that's what builds up in terms of the problems that we have with our health. So I'm going to give you some cancer support, some of the most research-proven cancer supportive supplements, naturally speaking, that are available today. This supplement actually has more peer-reviewed journal research supporting it that has been published in medical journals than anything else. Comes from curcumin, which is turmeric, which is like an Indian spice, and they know this. They've known this for a while. It's anti-inflammatory. It's anti-metastatic. It stops the spreading of cancers. It stops the formation of tumors. It modulates cancer genes. So all this has been published in evidence-based literature, medical journals. So this has long been known, and it's one of the best-kept secrets in the world. It just annihilates inflammation, not just with cancer, but joint pains, if you have blood pressure, blood sugar, any of these things that are driven by inflammation, it's just a must-have. I take a couple of these every day, and I don't even have any of those conditions. I just take it as a natural preventative part of my approach to health. CoQ10 is huge. Remember, guys, the key to making sure that cancer never gains a foothold and out of control is cellular health. CoQ10 is at the core of that. CoQ10 helps to replenish and regenerate new healthy cells. It keeps all the cells healthy in your body, and it functions as an antioxidant. Not all CoQ10s are created equal. It's not the substance or the supplement that you're getting, it's how the absorbability occurs. It's called bioavailability. And not all supplements are created equal. They're made with different fillers and binders, and none of the Thorne products have any fillers or binders, which means they have the maximum bioavailability. And I know this firsthand from being in their facility in Idaho. I flew out there and I saw the testing that they do to make sure that we get the clinical results that we expect. And so that's why we have that there. That's part of the supplement suite. Crocera SGS, it's a cancer preventative. It's an antioxidant, anti-inflammatory. It enhances and boosts detoxification. It's neuroprotective, prevents Parkinson's, Alzheimer's disease, and it's an antibiotic, a natural antibiotic. So this was also recommended and put together with the naturopathic doctors from Thorne for our purposes tonight. Vitamin D. How many of you guys take a vitamin D supplement? You remember the recommendation for vitamin D being 400 international units to prevent rickets and scurvy. And that was established long ago, again, bunk science. But what they missed out on was the benefits of superdoses of vitamin D, preventing about 75% of all the cancers that people are diagnosed with and dying from today. And again, medical literature, we know that the number one vitamin deficiency right now is the U.S. African Americans, even more likely to be vitamin D deficient. They said, and this was years ago, medical research shows raising the minimum year-round vitamin D level to 60 nanograms per mole, which is about 5,000 international units, would prevent 58,000 cases of breast cancer, 49,000 cases of colon cancer, and 75% of deaths from these diseases. Significant, guys. Researchers found that women who were deficient vitamin D at the time they're diagnosed with breast cancer are nearly 75% more likely to die from the disease than women with sufficient vitamin D levels. That is huge. And moreover, their cancer is twice as likely to metastasize to other parts of the body. So how important is vitamin D when it comes to cancer prevention? It's an absolute core to your supplement routine. So again, this supplement suite tonight was put together specifically for cancer support. Now I didn't put that together, but this was sitting through days of research and studying and learning from the naturopathic doctors in the Thorne research labs and facilities. I myself was there. And they put these together because when they work together, they have a synergistic effect, which means they have an amplified or an exponential effect. They're much more effective when they work together. That's why we give you a discount. We give you 20% off if you get the whole package. So the supplements are never on sale in our office, guys. Only at the workshops. We like to incentivize those of you who take your health, seriously. You came here, you spent the time, and it's up to you if you'd like to take advantage of that, but you'll save 20% on all of these. Also, it's 20% off of the shakes, any of the shakes, whether it's the complete shake or that. And the detox packets, I wanted to make mention of this because this is totally relevant to what we're talking about. If you've never done a detox program, guys, you're late in the game. And I'm not talking about a colon cleanse, which is a good idea, but that doesn't pull the toxins out of your cells. These are simple and easy. They're all in a packet. There's a 30-day supply, and this reaches down deep into the cells and pulls all the junk out, heavy metals and every kind of toxin that would be cancer causing. I personally do this every 90 days. And if you haven't done it, I would strongly recommend it. These are the detox nutrient packs, and those are 20% off also. Anything other than those, I think we discount like 10% off of any other supplements. But like I said, guys, it's tonight only. People always ask me, hey, like I had somebody ask me last night, she said, I'm not going to be here. I know that you're going to be giving the sale. Can I get that can I get that price if I buy it today? And what was my answer? No, it's called integrity. If I tell you it's never on sale except at the workshops, I'm telling you it really is. So please take advantage of it if you're serious, if you want to see the benefits of this. You can do that. Here's another way that you could save money. Raise your hand if you like to save money. Okay. How many of you guys believe that you learned something life-changing tonight? Yes. Would you consider it valuable? Yes. Do you believe that everybody really should know or at least have the opportunity to learn this? Well, I encourage you to bring people to the workshops, but also, you know, people today, they're all over the computers, all over the internet. Everything is reviews. Go out to a restaurant, read the reviews. Buy a product on Amazon, read the reviews. Guess what? They review doctors too. And it's really valuable when we have our patients go online and write the reviews, and we have a 5-star review, and we've got 5 stars. When people see our clinic and who we are and what we do you think they're more likely to come in and access what you guys have learned? So if you'd be a blessing and be willing to do that, we'll give you a coupon and have 25% off of any supplement that you'd like. And that's good anytime. So that's, I think, in your handout. Take that with you. If you go home and you do the review on RateMDs, just read the instructions. Come in and tell us you did it, and we'll give you the coupon right on the spot, and you can use it immediately. Does that sound good? Yeah. There's one other place you could do it. It's right on our website. If you've ever been on our landing page, PlantationElevationHealth.com, you just go right to this, click on Google reviews. You could just click on that and do the same thing. But it's up to you. I just wanted to let you know what all your options were. Okay, so let's make application. Make sure you get credit for tonight's workshop, especially if you're a patient, because remember, if you get 6 or more, you get your discount. You can get your supplements before you leave. Go see Joe for your massage over there, and make sure you mark down next month, May 14th, for our weight loss workshop. Anybody who has any other questions, please come and see me up here. Thanks for being here tonight, guys. Love and appreciate you. God bless. Yes. What day are you on?
8th. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, you gotta wait.
I'd love to.
Don't use any of those screenshots.
No, I know I can't do that.
Okay.
Very much. I'm talking about this next time.
Waiting till
Yeah, wait through. Yep. Which system? Oh, there, yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, it's amazing. Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm glad you showed me. It's great. Thank you very much. I'm going to go up front and see if anybody wants to talk about pneumonia. Thank you.
It's reverse osmosis and ionized.
But we'll be still talking about it because you leave your stuff here.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. You know, I think if you have a couple of you have 2 weeks today, you're probably going to have somewhere
You got started again for your second round.
and then you have your veggies also. So they probably have 40 grams, 50 grams. I wouldn't necessarily worry. Yeah, as long as alkaline veggies.
Second time, yeah. For the second round. But I got it. I'm still
Go with it, 38, how much you said you lost the first time?
That's it. Thanks for coming. As far as the benefit, I mean, like cancer benefits,
You look so nice. Makeup on today.
thing with that is that it's still, if you look at the label, you'll see it has wheat flour. It still has flour. So it's just all mixed together and it doesn't look white, it looks brown, but it still has the same effect of raising your glucose. So that's why it's not on the nutritionist program. And you know, I used to have the green whatever it was, the spinach pasta. And my body used to do good with that. I wouldn't really eat meat with that. But once I cut all that stuff in the out, it just made me a lot more stable. So now what we'll do is, because I used to love that, my wife would make this spaghetti and meat sauce, but instead of the white spaghetti, she made the spinach spaghetti, and then we have the meat sauce. And she used to just turn the, she uses grass-fed. But now instead of pasta, we'll use broccoli. So she'll put the broccoli in the pan and put it in the oven, and put olive oil and garlic over it. Let it cook in the oven to the point where it's just, it just like it almost disintegrates when you're working. And it's like a little bit brown on the top. And you can do that, and it's almost like when you break it down, it's almost like mashed potatoes. You break that down, you have the meat sauce on top of it, put a little Parmesan cheese in there, and some broccoli. And I just dump the meat sauce on the veggies. So, and I don't miss the pasta at all. I'll walk away from the table really full with that. That's a good meal for me. It's just vegetables and meat. Yeah. Now listen, if you, yeah. Right. But here's the thing, you know, if you have it every once in a while, just you can do it. But just realize that the scales can go up, and it'll probably come right back down. If you want to do a brisk walk, like maybe an hour or two after you eat it, just to keep your metabolism ready. If you do that, whatever, you can try it once a week. If you don't get any weight, then you're okay. But if you see that it's coming back on, maybe once a month. You just gotta play with it. Yeah. Thanks for coming. Yeah.
So you're working on the date.
Good idea. Just like me. Yeah.
You said sweet potatoes were good?
Yeah. The nutritional system, no.
Yeah, they got potatoes for me.
The longhorns, small lots of butter. Lots of butter. Yeah. And I don't just chop a pound and a half next day. Kerrygold. It's all organic. No, it's just organic. Yeah. Try it, yeah, let me know. Awesome. Robert! What's up? The green tea? I don't know. I mean, it's not smooth, is it? No, that's something we do. Green tea and tea is what happens. We don't have it as does. It's in the soup. We'll be able to get it tonight. Tell them where you want to get a body count. In Chicago? I was going to, but when I realized that I had audio, and it defeated the whole purpose of the video, I'll write down the website for you. And what you can do is just go on there, watch the video, it's a 20-minute video, and you can book your appointment right on there. Okay? We're running like there's a 2-week wait for appointments, so try to do it soon so that you go on that time over here. If you want to lose 27 to 32 pounds, it's 4 days. Yeah. Not next week, but oh, possibly next week. I'm gonna open up some spots on next Thursday.
You have to register online.
You have to register online, yeah. You got it tomorrow.
Oh, on this I see all the literature and everything about.
Everything, yeah, it'll tell you all about the videos. When you watch the video, take about 20 minutes.
I'll have to watch it. That's what I use for my.
Yes. Well, not individually, but when you buy the whole suite.
10%.
10%, yeah.
Because I want to get the one.
Yeah, that's 10%. Yep. Nice to meet you guys.
All right. And look like the spinal thing, that's what you were saying,
Yeah.
the spinal, I mean, I go to a chiropractor all the time, anyway.
Okay.
On a
Good,
regular.
good. Awesome.
I haven't gone for years,
Okay.
but he has a machine that you check exactly all your, that's all together.
Ask,
Check
yeah, ask
your
her,
nerves.
ask her for people.
Okay, and then I can still get treatment at least while I'm here. I have to find out if you take my insurance.
Do all that for, no problem. Yeah.
I thought that I could grab one, but I didn't.
Ruben probably have it. Sure. Yeah, he made a copy for me. I'll ask him to see it. Let me make a note, see if I can find his email, then I can send you. Okay? What is, that's your list for,
Cohen,
Right, and they'll have, they'll.
They're
open every day.
No, I know. What's the best time to come? She goes
I interviewed one of the questions they asked was the lady who wanted to know more about the low income system, and I said, I'm sure we can I
yeah,
she's gonna go to,
yeah.
but, well, the 954 then future-most, you know, the website itself, and I said,
It is, it's the same. Oh, right.
and I said, but if you go on to the Nutrimost one, and you put in your zip code, it'll bring you to the Dr. Andrews. And I didn't go years around in this area.
Thanks for coming, guys. All right.
And thank you for all that you do to try to increase awareness and, because you're saying people stop learning and start dying. Where, you know, it's just amazing. And what scares me is the fact that as more and more people are becoming dependent on like. Oh, yes. Start realizing the more alternative information is even out there. They're going to start cutting the flow of information to people that way. So that these kind of seminars are going to become that much more important.
About the benefits though.
You'll have to use the sources from the journals. So, thanks.